Welcome to the Ed Answer Key, the podcast where in the time it takes to complete hall duty and attendance, we embark on an educational adventure for both teachers and families. So whether you're a seasoned educator or a family navigating the school system, buckle up for the Ed Answer Key.
Technology in education.
Technology means we have to adapt.
You have to.
Especially with
You have to.
the introduction of computers. Everyone had to learn how to use them, how to work around some of the things the students figured out before us, and now we have AI to worry about. I had my first AI-generated essay last year.
How was it?
We got
though?
one of those
It
too.
was
it good?
I got excited. Everyone's worried, like, oh, well, we won't know what the
You'll
student
notice.
wrote versus what the computer wrote.
Come on.
No.
7th grade
My
writing versus
students, I know how they write, and I've watched you write all year.
This isn't it.
How are you pulling out these $5 words
Yeah.
on this final exam? Like,
Yeah.
obviously you didn't write this. It must have been AI and like something that we have to adapt to. I feel like a lot of teachers are more scared than they need to be about it.
About AI specifically, or
Just having
Technology.
AI in the classroom, just having students misusing it for plagiarism and things like that.
I just get frustrated when they keep changing it. Like, we'll buy this software, we'll do this software,
Yeah.
we're going to use this year. And then you get me through this whole training. I finally learn how to use it. And you're like, oh, we're switching again. So that's what frustrates me. I'm not like old school or whatever, but when you teach me something in regards to an area I don't even like, and then you yank it away from me, that's what irritates me. You give me all these boards in the classroom I need to use. You take me through training and say, oh, we got a grant. We're going to upgrade these boards. I just learned how to use this one. Can you keep that one in here?
and the technology, its main thing
Talking
is
to
to
each
make
other
our jobs easier.
Well, and technology is always
Give me a
helpful
book.
if you just use everything in a small amount to some degree. Like, I'm going backwards. Like, my plan for this coming year, like, I want to take less, and just because I feel like we're getting that less personal route with technology, I think AI is super helpful for teachers. I think it's curious how students use it, obviously, but I see benefits to using
I'm
technology.
planning on teaching my entire class just using AI next
I see
year.
that
Oh,
for you.
not
I see
clear.
that. for you.
Cyborg teacher.
Not
I love it.
Can you even imagine?
Next topic, self-control.
Self-control is something developed, and I don't think students have a lot of support to develop self-control. I know, especially with COVID, and I know we keep bringing it up, but it's affected so much in education.
Right.
Students' self-control in the classroom is kind of already put in place because they know about the consequences. But when they were just online and there wasn't really any consequences, that self-control went out the window. I had students like cooking breakfast while they were like trying to listen to me, which is fine, but they just don't really think about how some of their actions may affect others.
I think it all starts, like, people don't believe it, but it starts in the home. Like, I tell
Oh,
people all the time, like,
yes.
it's not my job to educate my child, but it's my job to get my child ready for education.
To be a
And
ready
so
student.
to hear the word no, these kids legitimately, because especially during COVID, I mean, there was no boundaries. There was no rules. Parents were
Everything.
trying to work. I mean, I think of myself. I was trying to work. So there'll be times like he'd be sitting eating candy just so I can get through a meeting or
Right,
whatever.
right.
But there were no boundaries. There were nothing. And so the learning starts at home, teaching your kid those boundaries, teaching your kids no. Like, my son hears the word no. I don't care how it frustrates you. I don't care what other parents are doing. I want you to learn that. So when you go to school, you have that self-control and boundaries to know this is how you operate in a school setting. And I know people didn't like it because it was another thing added, but when we were teaching kids habits of success, I loved
yeah.
it. When we all were using the same language and
Yeah.
impulsivity and managing your emotions, like, it was amazing to hear us all using that language, because at the end of the day, these kids need soft skills to go out into the world.
And they
Yeah.
need consistency with
If you,
And-
if you can put words to it,
Yeah,
it helps
totally.
them out,
Yes,
because I don't think they see it as
A skill.
the behavior is very abstract, and putting words to it, the managing impulsivity or whatever, that I think that really did help them focus a little bit more.
Yeah,
on,
it gave
on what
us
was
all a
happening.
language to use. Like, when we were all consistent in that language where kids knew what they were doing and saying.
You know, I always got in elementary school on my report card, my teacher always marked lacks self-control for me.
Yes.
And thinking back, I'm like, I don't think I was nearly what
Where?
some of the behaviors I've seen in the classroom. I don't think I was nearly
Well, and
that.
I was going to come to the other side of this. Like, yeah, we can talk about students in a school setting, but if you think about self-control in society, Does it exist? They don't have a model of self-control anymore. Probably most of their parents, they don't even know what that looks like to some degree.
Everyone's just living.
Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the Ed Answer Key. Your support means the world to us. Be sure to stay in the loop about upcoming topics by downloading our free podcast companion at www.edanswerkey.com. So until next time, class dismissed.